This is the B-side, B-side, B-side of marriage. This is the B-side, B-side, B-side of marriage.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Bside of Marriage Podcast. My name is Rashonda, and this is my husband,
Jason.
Yes, and if you're joining us for the first time, welcome.
Welcome.
Yes, this is a podcast where we talk about everything related to marriage, the A and the B side, the ups and the downs. So we like to kickstart our episode off with sharing either an A or a B side moment, meaning something that was really positive, and then reality. So, Jay, you go first.
I'm gonna go A side because baseball's over.
Yes.
That's it right there. Baseball's over. So
what does that mean? For those who don't.
Well, basically with baseball schedule I work, baseball is 162 games. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty much working every day with maybe a day off here and there because of when they're traveling or something like that. So so that means that I'm home. I get to hang at home for the weekends with the family.
For a couple of weekends.
For a couple of weekends till basketball starts. But basketball is not as bad as baseball because baseball is every day. Basketball is every other day, every 2 days. So it's not as bad.
Sure. Basketball is not as bad as baseball, but it gets it can get a little crazy too.
Yeah, but it's not as bad though. And we don't do playoffs, so that's the other thing too.
Okay. If you say so. We go through this, I feel like every season, and you're like, oh, but then we have to do like the first round or something like that.
That's only basketball.
Right.
Not baseball.
But that's coming up. Y'all did cover them when they were really good in baseball. Y'all did, because y'all were showing them simultaneously. The year that we won, the first year. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Baseball season this year is over. Yeah. So we get to go back to a
new normal.
a new normal, another transition. Mm-hmm. So yeah, okay. Well, mine's not going to be an A. It's definitely a B. And it's more around parenting than like our relationship. And I don't even know how to say this without it being like politically charged, but it's just like we are intentional about making sure that our kids have, relationships with different ethnicities, like friends, from different ethnicities. And I feel as though we're raising them to try to understand different perspectives. Mm-hmm. And it's just hard being in an area where that is not always, they don't always get the benefit of the doubt.
Correct.
Like it's not reciprocated to them.
Yeah.
And so I feel as though this is our first incident with school where the whole critical race theory came about with an author visit that was supposed to come, or it was actually even virtual, but it was an author visit to our school district where some parents got upset because they were like, oh, he's teaching about CRT. And I'm like, so yes, it's been very frustrating because it was an author that our oldest son loves. It's Jenny Craft. I hope I got that right. I'm sorry if I didn't, but he's the author of New Kid, and he wrote another book that's out, Class Act, and is dealing with like just people of color being in environments that are not always meant for them and how to be successful. So not necessarily calling people racist. It's just really just providing a different perspective. So anyways, a graphic novel. And so our son loves it. And he really related to it. And it came at a time when he was struggling on finding books that would interest him.
Yeah.
And he loves graphics and comics and stuff. So this was right up his alley. So anyways, so it was disappointing that
they postponed it.
Yeah. Well, they postponed it, could potentially cancel it because if enough people raise enough noise, they will cancel it. But it's something that this is a Black author. So this is something that our kids want to see. And there's other kids who actually like him. And there's white kids who like his books too. Yeah. So it's just, I just really want, like I want politics to really step aside in some of these things. Yeah. Because this is politically charged.
It is.
It's not about the content of the books. I'm pretty sure the people who are protesting haven't even read the book.
They never read the first one.
I haven't read the book. I just read summaries of it, whatever. Yeah. And I've listened to some of his other visits elsewhere, whatever. But anywho, so that was a little sad because that was supposed to happen this week. And so son was a little disappointed in that. And also there's like the not knowing if it's going to be canceled or if it's just going to be, rescheduled. Yeah. So hoping that clear minds and clear heads will prevail, but we'll see. So that's kind of like a bummer. Yep. Especially because after we just went through the book fair and I was like, we were doing so good. And then here we are. Yeah. So
I'm not going to talk anymore because, you got my text about how I feel. So let's not go into that.
Yeah. I just wish that everyone will be open to just learning about different perspectives. At the end of the day, that's what it boils down. We're all different. Even if we have the same ethnicity, we had different, our households were different. So we were raised different. So I just wish people were more open.
People don't.
I know.
People, if it doesn't fit in their bubble, it's not.
Exactly. If it doesn't, If
it doesn't fit in their bubble.
No, you're right.
So, and that's simple as it is. Don't take the time to learn about other people. Yeah. But we're expected to always learn about you. But hey, that's just.
I know. It's just, like I said, it was a downer to a great week as far as, reading and stuff. I also figured out a way to bribe our youngest to want to read. So I was like,
I'm just glad it wasn't on a group that I'm on because I would have went in, but.
Well,
it's not because it's on the women's only. It's not on the men. It's not on men's thing. So
well, no, but it's certain individuals not that even brought that into the group chat or the Facebook group. And they took it to the board.
Yeah, I know, and that's what
So that's what it says. So that's another. Okay, so this is a long B-side, but what's frustrating about it is. Even if, yes, he was coming, they was doing a visit, but you could opt out. If you didn't feel comfortable with any of the content that either the author produced or has said in the past, you can opt out where your child did not, they were not forcing all of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders to attend this author visit. So you could always opt out. Yeah. Well, we are a part of a very large school district. And of the people who opted out, 30, 30, which is not even 1% of the total population. Yeah. So it's those who have a bit of a following and started to ruffle feathers. So now, hopefully, it's just our school district going through the technicality of going through, the book, book review. Well, I don't know if they did it.
I'm pretty sure.
So because if they did it, then they wouldn't have to do another one.
They went through it already.
I don't think they did.
I think they did. No, now they're gonna go through it and read it with a fine-tooth comb with that viewpoint of that person.
I don't think so. I don't agree. I don't think that's going to be the process. I don't. Because he also has a large support. So there's been a campaign from those who support the author to buy up his books, to provide, because a lot of teachers, his books are in high demand.
Yeah.
So a lot of the teachers cannot keep it in their room. Like libraries cannot keep it on their shelves because kids are always renting them out.
Yeah.
So there's a campaign of parents who are buying additional books to give to teachers, to give to libraries so that they can have them. But now all the libraries had to pull theirs. So
see, that's
teachers. Well, because it's a part of the book review process. But they did this before with The Hate U Give. And the only reason why they were able to successfully get that canceled and get those books pulled is because of the language and I think it was like sexual innuendos or sexual content or suggestive sexual whatever. So they were able to get that one pulled. Yeah. But it only came down to that. They don't have those same, like that stuff is not in New Kid and Class Act.
You have a better optimism.
I do, because I want to say that I'm a part of a district who, at the end of the day, are going to do what's best for the kids. Because honestly, there's not many books that they recommend that are on their book list that are like, oh, that's actually equal representation. Oh, so anywho, as you can see or hear, that this is something that both of us are very passionate about. And so, anywho, but that's it. It's just frustrating, man. So
yeah, that's why.
That's why what? Did you stay out of it?
That's why I'm glad I'm not in that.
Well, I want to be involved and I want to be in the know. Even if I'm not involved.
Because honestly, like I said, I want to be able to raise some stink about this if they try to pull it.
Well, and that was the point I was trying to get to. So loud voices prevailed, and they signed this petition that went to the board for them to review. But also, I was like, well, when can the supportive, like those who are in support of this, of the book, of the author, of his writing, when can we voice, like how can we get our voices heard? Because
create a petition. We need to create a petition too.
For what?
To keep it on the shelves.
But you can't, this is like, that's what's like, there's nothing for us to put where the board can review. They're not going to review the petitions. They didn't review theirs.
But they're looking at the book,
well, because that's a part of the process. Anybody can call for a book to be reviewed.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, I'm hopeful that that they go through the process and just be like, and it just reinforces all of the support that people have of it.
I hope.
And also, I just don't want to be a part of a school district. Like, I don't want us to be known for this. That's my whole thing. I don't want us to be known for this. So, because it's already starting to get picked up by like Houston networks and just, so I hope they do the right thing. And we're gonna move on.
Move on now.
All right. So I know we always talk about how busy we are and how our schedules are like always changing and whatever. And so we know that a lot of people can relate to this, especially as, people are being out more, doing more things, like signing up for after school activities and just being more outside. It's hard to maintain your connection with each other while you're going through that. So today I just want to talk about some things, give some recommendations of things that we do, of things that we should do, in order to just maintain your relationship even when you have busy schedules. So let's talk a little bit about why are we so busy? All right. So we were kind of talking about that before, which is why Jay is happy baseball season's over. But his job requires him to work according to the local sports schedules. So that's for basketball and baseball.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever there are games, his schedule is dependent on that.
Yeah.
My schedule is more traditional as far as like work. Like I work normal hours. Yes, I work normal hours-ish. And we have 3 kids who are in 3 different grades. And this is the first time we're dealing with that.
Mm-hmm.
And their schedules.
With the activities that they have.
So we have a 5th grader who, because of the way our schools are set up, elementary is pre-K through, well, not really pre-K, but kindergarten through 5th grade.
Yep.
So he is like, this is his last year. So there's a lot of things. And a lot of they don't really do clubs, like electives, but they do like, they have like certain clubs. So they're like choir, and then they have like the kindness crew. Like there's different, I shouldn't even say clubs. They're organizations.
It's groups.
Interest groups?
Yeah,
I don't know. Anyways,
groups.
they have these things, but the majority of them are limited to 5th grade, meaning if he wants to try to do any of these things, he has to do it now before he goes to, junior high. So he's in a couple of things at school. And then we have a kindergartner who is new to the school. And so he's just like, we have to be more involved in his homework.
Yeah.
Because they do get homework,
Mm-hmm.
even at kindergarten. And then you have a 1st grader who is,
think she knows
she thinks she's a 5th grader, but she's more on top of her stuff. Like, oh, I have homework. I need to know my sight words. I have this, so anyways, but we have 3 kids in 3 different grades, which require us interacting with 6 different teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And they all having, homework and having to coordinate that, and then trying to help them with subjects that they may or may not be, might not be the best at.
Yeah.
So trying to teach, trying to help them to not get them frustrated, because if they get frustrated, all 3, it's pretty much a lost cause. And then we have, I'm going to graduate school. I'm in graduate school. The kids, we have Ivy. She's in gymnastics, which is after school. And
Aiden has martial arts. Yep.
And he wants to do other things, but we're just like tapped out. So oftentimes it seems like I am a single parent as far as managing logistics, because Jay is physically not here to help with drop-offs, pickups,
bedtime,
shuffling, bedtime, dinner, all that stuff. So it becomes very like our relationship as far as our connecting times are really weird.
Mm-hmm.
And not normal.
Consistent too.
No, they're not consistent. That's for sure. Because we literally, especially depending on your work schedule, we try to find any little time.
Literally, like if I leave work after 6:30, I'm not getting home to about 7:45.
6:30 a.m. or p.m.
p.m. I'm talking about at nighttime. So if I'm working 9 to 5 or something like that, I'm not getting home.
All right.
After the kids are asleep.
True.
So
that's another component is that he actually works outside of the house where he has to physically be in the studio. So that requires him to travel, what, about an hour?
Hour and a half sometimes.
Without traffic, about 45 minutes to an hour into work, and then back, depending on if it's traffic, an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So then he has his commute as well to factor into the equation. Whereas I work from home, so it's easier for me to like navigate because I'm literally here. I don't have to worry about commuting other than picking up the kids. So, so one thing I know, we don't officially do this anymore, but we used to have, and that's one thing I did miss. So when Jay was working from home, because everybody was like working from home, we used to be able to do the daily like connect, we didn't really, there wasn't an official thing like daily connection time. Yeah. But as when we would just go and we'll have coffee together. Like when you're at work and you go to the coffee machine, go to the water, break room, whatever, have a little coffee talk or what is it? Water jug. What is it? You know the saying, you be around the water jug. I don't know if it's water talk, but y'all know what we're talking about. But anyways, we used to be able to do that with each other. Like we were our own little breaks and we'll have coffee time and we'll kind of talk about how the day's going or what's going on. Now we do talk, it's not official, but we talk about, really at night, we're talking about the next day. And it's just like, quickly, hey, how was your day? When we're like, okay, so tomorrow, who's doing this? We got this, this, and this, and try to get that arranged. So we talk. It's like we, but said, it's not like it's relationship based. Yeah. So this is more often than not just us making sure we're in alignment with our schedules. Yeah. So like level 4. Yes. It's not surface level stuff. It's just stuff we gotta take action on. Yes. So yes, like did you pay that bill? You gotta pay this bill, or we gotta do this. We gotta pay this fee. Yeah. Yeah. So that's usually. Am I getting up in the morning to ride bikes with my son? This is like daily. Yeah, that's like our daily thing is kind of like we do it. We try to do it the night before, but if you're working late, we just do it the day before at some point. Or via text. Well, yeah, but I'm saying at some point we're talking about logistics and stuff. Yep. Okay. Now on a weekly basis, we talk about our relationship. Now we don't go as deep as we have been in the past. Yeah. Because we're still trying to shift. And now it's going to be another shift. But hopefully, because we used to do this on Sundays. Yes. So hopefully, at least for next couple of weeks, we'll probably be able to do it on a Sunday again. But this will be our relationship check-ins. And so we would do highs and lows. We would talk about any unsatisfied needs or wants. Or like, if you be like, I just feel disconnected, I think we need to schedule like a date night or whatever. But anyways, we would just really talk about what's going on with us and how we're interacting with each other. And then as well as what's in your ear, like what do we listen to, stuff like that. Because that does, that can either pull you one way or the other, depending on what you're watching or what you're listening to. Yes. Also, we used to begin these by doing the 60 seconds. Yeah. When we look into is okay. So for me, it was awkward. Because 60 seconds, you're literally looking into each other's eyes and you're only saying affirming things about each other. And I don't really do compliments well. So that's why I was like, this is just awkward. I don't like it. And plus, that's not one of my love languages. So I was just like, okay. But all I can do is laugh, yeah. Yeah. But anyway, I got over it. You be on struggle. You was on struggle bus for a little bit. I don't always keep the eye contact through it all when it's my time. Yeah. But it's funny, when I'm giving it, I can look at you in the eye and do it. But can't multitask, can't look and talk. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Well, no, it's just weird. Like I said, it's just weird because I don't do compliments well. So I don't take compliments well. So I'm like, okay. Gotcha. All right, what time is that? And then like 15 seconds in, I'm like, oh man. Yeah, we have to set a timer so she's. Yes, because she'll cut that short. We're done. That's 6 seconds. No, it's 90 seconds. No, it ain't. Yeah. Give me all that. Come close. Yeah. What else do we used to do in our weekly checkups? I mean, yeah, check-ins, not checkups, check-ins.
Usually at the end, we would pray with each other.
Yep. We ended with prayer.
But we pray, like, it's not just ending, we'll pray over each other, not just ending in prayer. So,
yes.
I'm saying that it's
different.
It's different. That's why, okay. I thought you were like, no. I'm like, it's different. So,
it is.
Okay.
Now, what we would recommend in these relationship check-ins, you're not talking about schedules. You're not talking about calendars. You're not talking about to-dos. You are not talking about meal planning, grocery, like no tactical stuff like that. Is solely, this is the time that you set aside for you guys to talk about your relationship, what you have enjoyed, like what you have appreciated that your spouse has done over the week, what it is you feel like you might be needing more of, because I know we've said it in previous episodes, like you're constantly changing. So what you needed last month might not be the same thing that you need now. So it's like, okay, so. And the only way that your spouse will know it is if you communicate it. Yeah. So you have to say, I really did appreciate you doing this. I need more of that. Or actually, I appreciate that you doing that, but I need more of this instead, right? During this, season in my life, this is where I'm at. So anyways, that's where you talk. You're literally talking only about you guys' relationship. No kids, no in-laws, no nothing. No external factors, just you two.
Yeah. So the other thing I would add is to turn your phones off.
Oh yeah. Well, this is something we struggle with. We're doing better.
Yeah. Turn your phones off. And then again, there's so many things you can do during your weekly check-ins. Like, we have different marriage books and stuff like that. Like, you can go through a chapter and just kind of talk through some questions they have and just, or ask, like I said, just ask each other questions about, something that this week that either you want to talk about, or something that just, that you noticed this week. It can be something that they did, that they noticed, like, I can't even get an example, but just, and like she said, doing the affirmations, but that's where you can also just appreciate, like, tell them how you appreciate for whatever they did that week, and it could be just simple as like, I always say thank you to my wife for cooking dinner. Like, I don't expect that when I come home, I need dinner on the table. Like, I don't expect that, but for her to do it, I still going to say thank you, because I appreciate, I would like to cook because I like cooking, and it will take some pressure off of her, but I can't do it because I'm in traffic basically. So those are the different things that like I would do during that time.
Yep. And I would say only do that if you cannot, like if you don't know what to talk to your spouse about.
What do you mean?
Like, I wouldn't bring like books and stuff and or like reading or studying or devotional time into our relationship check-in. I think that should be separate, because I think that's another thing that you can do to connect.
That's true. I'm more saying like getting different things to like jog the conversation.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So that's why I said if you guys are having problems or not really sure how it should flow, then get that. Get like a book or ask the question. We give you guys questions every Tuesday. If you're following us on Facebook and Instagram, on some connecting questions. Yeah. So if you ever get stuck, you definitely can leverage those to help generate conversation, because they are questions only. They're questions intended for you guys to connect. So it's only focusing on your relationship and how you're feeling toward each other.
Yeah.
Okay. Another thing is regular date nights.
Regular weekly or regular? When you say regular,
I mean, ideally it should be weekly. but not in this house.
Oh, yeah, I know.
So, yeah. I mean, our recommendation, yes, to do a date night on a regular basis, if weekly, if possible. We were trying to do, because our evenings were so chaotic, we were starting to do more day dates, but then our days started getting busy. And so...
Back to the drawing board.
Yeah, we got to figure out how to... We got to figure that out.
Back to the...
So I get creative and figure out something. Because, yeah, if you're working a regular schedule now, that really doesn't benefit me. Yeah. So okay. So
it does.
I look behind the curtain. So, well, no, because when Jay told me that, baseball's over, apparently I made a face because my face usually tells how I'm really feeling. Yeah. And I didn't even know I made a face. And so he was like, I guess you're not happy about that. Yeah. And I was like, it is not that I wasn't happy, but honestly, it was because I made the face because when he's working late games, it allows him to be able to go and like take the kids, and we can actually have that time to where we can do like lunch dates. But now it's like, oh no, because he's gonna physically be he's gonna be physically unavailable until the evening. And so now I'm like, okay, so how do I figure this out so that we can get some dates in? Yeah. So that's why I made the faces, because yes, you get the weekends off, but now because it's more traditional schedule, there is less flexibility in it. So we'll have to figure out, how to put in date nights or dates, period. I should say date nights, because date days were great. Like those lunch dates, those were fun.
They were.
Yeah. And it makes you feel like you have no responsibilities for a little bit.
Because the kids are in school.
I mean, it's like free childcare. Yep. It's like literally, where do you want to go? What are you going to try? But we recommend those on a weekly basis if possible. Schedule regular getaways. Yeah. We, of course, got away from that during COVID, but are back on it. We will have our first one in December, over 2 years?
Yes.
So so the way we schedule it is that we have one, hopefully, ideally, international trip where it's just me and him. Yeah. And then we'll do one like elaborate family trip. And then we might have some little small either staycations or stuff like that throughout the year. Yeah. But you can guarantee that there's going to be one major trip for each of us, the family and just us, so we can reconnect and just have fun together. Jay had mentioned this earlier about no electronic time during the relationship check-ins. Also, I think that there should just be designated no electronic time at whenever, like if you're at dinner, then no electronics at dinner, so you can actually talk. This is tough for us because we rarely get to have a family dinner. We rarely get to have dinner together as a family. Yeah. So, and I realize that it's hard for me to incorporate when it's just me, because having to get all the kids like fed and then I eat, because that never happens.
No, because by the time
I'm ready to fix my plate, they're ready for seconds, to thirds, and we try to have it to where we all just try to sit and eat at the same time. Meltdowns occur. It was just so that's one that we've struggled to enforce. Yeah, because of the chaoticness, and because honestly, it gives me a break. Like if they're watching TV while they're eating dinner, I have like a moment to just like, oh, okay, I am in the kitchen. Like I just have a moment to my own thoughts or to listen to my own podcast. So I haven't been able to like do it all day. I'm just like, I'm just gonna listen. Y'all watch TV, I'm listening to my podcast. So guilty on that, but I think we need to do a better job in just having certain times for like, okay, no electronics. Yeah. So
I agree.
Yeah. I think we can enforce it better with the kids, not necessarily us. So We just got to work on that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Another way to connect is just to do household activities together.
Yeah.
Yes, no one likes doing laundry. But if you're folding it together, at least, especially like last night, we didn't do it intentionally, but we folded laundry together and we were talking while we were folding clothes. And so we got to catch up and talk about some stuff, even while just doing regular household things.
Oh, that's true.
So that's one thing that, these are jobs that have to get done anyways. And then it's always better, and it always goes faster if you're doing it together. So that's a way to sneak in some connection time too. Yeah. 2 more. Okay. So the next one is using interactive apps. And that goes to your podcast too. That can be one way to also stay connected. And that's like Jay had mentioned earlier, like if you're listening to something and they ask a question or something just intrigues you and you're like, oh, I wonder what my spouse would think about that or what their opinion on it is, drop a quick voice note so y'all can have it whenever y'all are talking, spending time talking to each other, or jot it down in however you take notes on the go, just jot that down. And so that's something that you can revisit when you guys, have your next check-in time. Mm-hmm. Also, when I said apps, like we use, let's just Anatomy of Marriage.
Ultimate Intimacy app, Anatomy of Marriage. Yeah, Anatomy of Marriage.
I use Anatomy of Marriage more so than Ultimate Intimacy.
Yeah, Ultimate Intimacy, Anatomy of Marriage, and Love Nudge. That's the only other one.
Love Nudge, because Love Nudge is dealing with the 5 love languages.
Yeah, yes. So you can actually, update your, if your not say needs, but if your love language are being filled, your love TankiX. So you can go in and actually, say where you at. You go, you have all the way up to 100. So you can say, I'm at this. Yeah. And what happens is when you do that, your spouse gets notified. Yes. So you can see like where they're at. And that just helps you gauge, where they're at that moment. So. Yes.
And that's good because once you like sync sync the account or whatever, you're able to see, because you might be thinking you're knocking it out the park and then come back and it's like, love sync is at 10. Yeah. Like, oh, I guess not. Mm-hmm. So then you can adjust, and it also softens the delivery of the conversations. Like when you're, when y'all are talking, it's not like, you don't do nothing. My love tank on 10. Yeah. Like it's like, oh, well, you already know that apparently something that you've been doing is not working or not being received. So it will help you be able to align your intent with your actions so that you're making sure what you're doing is actually landing and being received how you want to. With the Anatomy of Marriage app, they actually take you on a journey and they ask questions, or you take not tests, but you do little quizzes and stuff. It's interactive things that you do along your path. Yeah. And what happens is whenever you respond, you can also see your spouse's responses. Correct. Yeah. And you can see what level they're at.
Like if they completed that particular
lesson. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's very good. I would highly recommend it, even though I fell off. Jay left me in the dirt. I don't know. Jay was like, I don't even know where he was at. And I was just like, I think I had 3 more modules to do. Yeah. So but I think it does, and it also helps. They talk about their approach to conflict resolution. Yeah. So that also helps because when you do run into a conflict and you're unable to, you don't really have that tool set to talk through it in a proactive way, or a constructive way. Yeah, constructive way. Then you use their approach. And it helps, and it puts it in the app, because also too, if you're more of a writer versus being verbal, like being able to communicate appropriately, like through your words, then you can write down your responses so that you can really like get how you're feeling out. with that, and also too, you don't get interrupted when you're communicating that way too. So yeah, so it's very beneficial. So you can also try the app. And then the very last, and I would say the most important, especially if you are parents, or just extremely like you have very time-consuming jobs. This is the most important tip I can give you, and it's to schedule sex. What you see on TV, that ain't real life. I wish Jay would try to come up in the house and try to start ripping off clothes and stuff. First of all, we ain't got money to be wasting. Like, who ripping off clothes? Then you got kids running around. Then you don't know what y'all doing. Why y'all? No. What you see in the movies is false.
First thing you talk about is ripping clothes ass.
Because that's what they do. They were like, I had a long day. No. First of all, who gonna be putting them buttons back together on that shirt? Cause you gonna wear the shirt again.
People from the studio.
Exactly. That's why I said that's not real life. It's not real life. And then I'm like, oh, come home and you're naked. Well, how are you gonna explain that to the kids? They're like, Mom, I thought you were helping me with my homework. No, Daddy's coming home. I gotta get naked. Yes. So schedule it. And I know people are like, oh, it's not spontaneous. Yeah, you'll have those moments where you can be spontaneous. But especially if you're in a busy season of your relationship, schedule it. Mm-hmm. It builds up anticipation. Also, you can even though you schedule it, I'm trying to keep it G. So even though you are scheduling sex, you can still like alternate who owns how it's going to go down, where it's going to go down. Like that is where your spontaneity can come in, because like you don't know, like if it's his night to plan, I don't know what he got going on. I know my husband probably crazy, so that is the spontaneity of it all. But there's ways you can create spice even if it's on the calendar. Yeah. But put it on the calendar, because that way you know both of your physical needs are getting met, instead of trying to let life kind of like flow. I'm going to go with the flow. And then he's mad because he's not getting in enough, or she's mad because she's not getting in enough. And y'all can fix that. Yeah. That is a simple solution. Put it on the calendar. Yep. Then you know, hey, Tuesday, that is our go time. I bet you, especially moms, if you're wanting some assistance in helping with bedtime and your spouse is around but just doesn't know how they can help, schedule it. Put sex on that calendar. He will become the best bedtime partner ever. Promise you. The kids will be like, oh, what's going on? We gotta go to bed. What? We getting stories and all stuff? Yes, because you're gonna guarantee that you are relaxed, you're stress-free, so that y'all can have some fun time later. I don't know, try it. I'm like, God, test me in this and see it and prove me wrong. That's all I gotta say. Those are all my tips. So when you're not feeling connected, or life is too busy, you feel like there's just no way that y'all can connect, don't give any room to the enemy to come in and try to, because he'll take that little separation and he'll just keep wedging till y'all go from just feeling slightly disconnected to like, I don't even know you anymore. Yeah. Don't let that happen. There are ways to do it. It might not, and also keep in mind that it changes, right? You go through different seasons. So this is just a busy season. Your connecting time or how you connect, it looks different now. It'll look different later. So just do what you need to do in order for y'all to stay connected through the season, so you can see the next one. That's all I have to say.
All right. So,
we're at the end of the episode.
Yeah, you gotta. I'm trying to think where.
So, if you like the episode,
if you like the episode, go ahead and subscribe, like, and even share and follow. Yes,
follow and share.
Follow and share. And like I said, drop a message in the comments. Let us know, your thoughts about it.
Yes, let us know what tip is something like what was something that was said today that you never thought of, or something that you do often that has just really helped you in your relationship. We'll love to hear from you guys.
Yeah. Well, until next week.
All right. Peace.